So we're straight back on, just a few minutes later. I thought that one would be a quick turnaround. This is Wade Morley against Steve Petty. For those eagle-eyed amongst you, you'll see that they lagged twice. That was our fault. George didn't know if we were streaming yet and we were live, but he just told them to hold on a second just as they were lagging, so they did it a second time. Same result. Wade won it. He's broken off and he's dry, and it brings our first look at Steve Petty over the weekend. He's been playing pretty well, actually. He puts himself down and says he's not really been playing much, but there you go. I mentioned Steve and the transformation. I don't know what he's lost, but he must have lost in the region of I don't know, 6, 7, 8 stone, maybe more. He was a big lad. I mean, I only mention it because he to be fair, he's had the weight off for a couple of years now, but since I last saw him, which was probably 18, 20 months ago, he's dropped even more. He's properly slimline now. That's off to him. And this is our first look at Wade Morley over the weekend, and mention his name a few times because he has been doing really well in the main event. Beat Dom Cooney, beat John McAllister, and put the shock on Tom Cousins. He was 6-3 up against Tom Cousins. We didn't watch it, so I'm not sure what happened there about whether, Tom managed to come back and win that one 7-6. So he lives to fight another day. But Wade very close to another upset. Wade's another player. He has he hails from the northeast. You can see by his shirt that he's sponsored by Jarrow MOT, which is Davy Glynn's garage. Sponsors, very interested in pool and sponsors a lot of players from that area. I know that he had a connection with Brian Halcrow, the buzzer, for quite some time. But yeah, very into the pool scene up in the northeast, and very prominent as a sponsor. Supports all the local players, and Wade sporting Jarrow MOT on his shirt. He's got his own table at home. I've seen him a number of times over lockdown. He used to play on a 6-foot table in his lounge, but he's built a bespoke outbuilding of some sort. I don't know if it's an extension to the house or whether it's some kind of garden bar. But he's pretty sure that I saw that he recently opened it and put a pool table in there. I could be wrong, but I think it might have even been Zach Leonard who put the table in and clothed it for him. But I'm talking nonsense there. Zach's always on Facebook having just reclothed another table. And actually, if you're ever interested in a new table or recloth, then probably Zach's your man. He's the one of the technicians that is working here this weekend on the event. He leveled all of the tables before the event started. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Zach, but you can contact him on Facebook if you ever want anything in the way of tables. He can supply them. He gets a good supply of second-hand tables as well, and he does a really good job in terms of, he takes a lot of pride in his work. You can refurbish a table if it needs a bit of help, new cushions and cloth, etc. You would have just seen him in shot. He was the man that was ironing the table a second ago. He's also one of the guys behind what used to be STRN that then turned into OMG and is now transformed into UP Ultimate Pool. He's with his partner in crime, Will. And Zach and Will have teamed up with Lee Kendall to form that alliance. And they've got a tour coming up. They're responsible for the Monday night pool that's on, but they've also got a tour coming up starting in August, which should be great. Hosted on Free Sports. It's great to see that kind of that pool's just starting to lift off again. The IPA events are restarting, of course, this tour, and at the same time you've got UP, and the players are just starting to emerge again from this horrendous long lockdown that we've been in. It's so good to see everyone back on the table, socialising. It's a really good atmosphere here, actually. I was talking to Jealous Singh last night, and he was saying I wasn't going to enter, but I just had to. It was just great to see after such a long layoff, just, you know, all the old faces, all his old friends. Just a great opportunity to come back and socialise and spend the weekend just doing something normal again, rather than, you know, it just feels like we're getting a little chance just to get back to normal life in some ways, which is fantastic. Everyone's still being careful and masking up away from the table, and it's great. So I recognise that we've just ticked over to Saturday afternoon, and there'll be new people joining us as the weekend goes on. If you're wondering what you're watching, this is the World Rules Pool Tour, organised and orchestrated by Neil Toms, who's done a fantastic job, and also what a weekend he's having. Finds himself in the last 16 of the main event. We are Beer Productions, and we're coming live from the North Shore of Blackpool. The Grand Hotel, to be exact. If you know the geography of Blackpool at all, then if you've been here before for any events, you've probably played in either the Grand Hotel or maybe the Imperial. The Imperial is pretty much the next hotel down from us. If you've played in the Bapto events and been to Norbreck, then that's just a couple of hotels above where we are now. That kind of gives you the geography. We're pretty much right opposite the beach. Well, we are opposite the beach. The tram line passes just outside the window where we're sat now. That kind of paints the picture of where we are. I hope that you are comfortable and settled in for a great day of pool. We've got the Jason Owen Open, and then later this evening we will resume with the main event and the last 16 will play down to a final tonight. The final scheduled for 10:30 this evening. As always, we'd ask you to like and share. That was a great shot. Well, he really is a class player. Many people won't have heard of him. They won't be familiar with him. I know some of the guys that I work with, they were like, "Who's this guy?" But he really has shown what he's about this weekend. As I say, I don't think it's. I started to mention that he had his own table at home and then kind of went off on a tangent. But my point being that, you know, this weekend is going to create some strange dynamics because you're going to have players who, like Wade, have got their own table at home. And then other players who probably haven't had access to a table. Yeah, I was mentioning, please do. If you're watching on Facebook, we have tried to post it in a number of places. But if you do get the chance, please do like and share the stream just to get it onto your timelines and make sure that people are aware we're streaming today. And also, just help us out on Facebook. Like that. Just subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell, and also, if you get a chance, just click the share button. It'll copy you a link. You can stick it onto social media for us. That would be fantastic. That's all we really ask from you, is just to promote the stream today. It would be lovely to. I think there's a lot of people. I've seen a lot of comments from people saying, "Oh, I didn't know it was on. I didn't realise it was on." And it just really would be nice to get word around, because we've been starved of competitive pool for quite some time. And to give people a chance, certainly as the day goes on and towards the final tonight, it really would be great to get a good crowd on board to watch the event as it unfolds through the day or through the evening. Got a quizzical look from Wade just to see if he's left anything. I think he's all right. Played it as a bit of a shot to nothing, knowing that he'd be hiding the white or trying to hide the white behind the reds. It's hard to see from this angle, but I don't think there's a line through to the potting angle for Steve. Even if it is, it's not the nicest of shots to play. So yeah, he's having to go one rail. I think this is quickly going to be 3-0. And obviously in a race to 4, that's definitely not where you want to be if you're Steve. And Steve, having just bowed out of the main event to Ben Clark this morning, I think Steve was definitely 6-4 up. He may have been 6-3. He was definitely 6-4, and he's ended up losing 7-6. So he won't want this one to go the same way. I think they had a bit of a late night last night. He's up here with Jamie Fay. So I think they had a few beers last night. people just enjoying the fact that they can get out for a social. There was a few people worse for weather last night in the bar, most definitely. Be a few hangovers around this morning, and who can blame them? For some people, this will be the first time they've been out in goodness knows how long. This a lifeline for Steve. That's okay. Thought he was going to be hampered for a second, but he's fine. He's a quick player, isn't he? Just does not mess around. It's always been the same. I remember Steve on the tour from goodness knows, probably 7, 8, 9 years ago. Very attacking, very fast-flowing player, a confidence player as well. He's never really lost it. I don't think he spends as much time as he ever used to focusing on pool, but I know he's got a business that is takes up a lot of his time and interest. But you can only say that was one that got away for Wade. Should have chalked that one up. Should be 3-0. But Steve takes it and it's 2-1, and it's actually back on serve. It's Steve's break in the full frame. So Wade missed an opportunity for complete dominance in this match, and now, well, look at this. Very quickly, this is going to be 2 each, I think. Steve's not going to take too much time mopping these up. I think he probably will go for... Yeah, I think he'll probably go for reds. I don't know. It's the only reason I say that is this little triangle of yellows on the left-hand side rail. They're kind of all on top of one another, and he would have had to play a plant, which could go wrong. Whereas all the reds are there, even though there's a couple balls close to rails. They're all there and thereabouts. So definitely the better option. He's not messing around now. This is Steve Petty in full flow, and it's pretty to watch. One of the quickest players around. He's 2 frames apiece. So again, that one mistake from Wade has not just cost him that 1 frame, it's cost him 2 frames. And instead of him being 3-0, suddenly it's 2 apiece. And the pressure's firmly back on his shoulders on this break. Let's see how he handles it. He's already lost 1 match from being ahead against Tom Cousins, and that would have been a huge scalp. And now he's gone dry, so the pool gods punishing him to the max. think he's fallen out of shape here. I think he was just trying to hold slightly higher for the, unless, no, there's no gap there. I was going to say unless he was trying to find a gap between the two yellows, but no, he was trying to hold just above the red for the one to the kind of left of the triangle. He could pot that, and then it opens up the other yellow to the centre, but he's just dropped a little bit too low. I'm not sure what he's got in now. Can't see his way through to the one at top right. I don't think you can see the potting angle to the one top left. Maybe a thin cut to middle, but the cue ball's going to be flying. I think that's all he's got. You could see a gap through there just playing for the double. It's not a disaster. A little double kiss is giving him a little safety net. Yeah, it wasn't a full-blooded attempt. Would have liked it to drop, but he was trying to cover the bag. Actually, I think the ball's hit the knuckle and just bounced out. I think it now goes, but yeah, it definitely does. I was going to say if it doesn't, Steve had the angle there to try and knock it out. He's landed on it, so it definitely goes above the red. You can force an angle as well to come down table. Lots of side on that. I think, yeah, he's okay. He's okay. Just got there. Quarter of a roll less, and he was in trouble, but he just got there. Lovely. The yellow passes to right middle. We saw that earlier, so it's just he's got the wrong angle, but I think may just be able to hold. And he's had to go around for the yellow in the same pocket. Again, he's left it thin. He did just have too much angle to hold. Wondered if he could just stun up onto the red and leave a cut back, but he's left this thin cut. He's done well, controlled it well. Very nice assist from Steve. Well, he'll be bitterly disappointed. Really was in control of this game, and now he finds himself 3-2 down, and Steve is on the hill. These races to 4 are unforgiving. Just no room for error. Well, he definitely not caught that one. Wade just comes to the table and just a wry look on his face and scratches his head and thinks, what am I supposed to do with this? I mean, the pack's barely moved. Look at it. It's 10 of the 15 balls are still stuck together. You can take the red on the far extreme and punt into the pack and open him up. But if he doesn't make the ball, which he hasn't, then he's going to open up everything. I think I'm inclined to go yellows here, given that the yellow and red tied up on the side of the rail. It's easier to get the yellow out than it is to get the red out. He may see it differently. Just really, I mean, there is more room. He's gone at it straight away. Lost the cue ball to the top rail, but he still has a couple of balls he can go at. Again, it really depends on how aggressive Wade wants to be. He can go after these if he wants to. He definitely doesn't need to. He could play defensively and cover the bottom right bag. And I think that's what he's torn between at the moment. You can see him kind of shake his head and think, what do I go for here? As I say, he can go after them. There's only one bad ball. Played to get one out, cover the bag. The one he played to get out has found the pocket. I don't think you want to be going for these personally, given where that ball is on the side rail and also where the black is. And I don't think you want to pot any more balls because you'll just be putting yourself into trouble. I think the order of the day here is, now you've got that claim on the bottom right pocket, is just punt this ball out from the side rail just to open it up. Yeah, kind of covered another bag, essentially covered the path for another yellow, but I don't know, I know it's easy enough to do something with that ball on the side rail because you can always plant the one down the table, but I think I'd have felt more comfortable if that ball was off the rail and just out in open play. I guess not much else Steve could have done there. Open his balls up and lay down the challenge and say, there you go, if you get them, fair play. There isn't really anything too difficult here for Wade, but it is all about cue ball control. And he's lost the cue ball already. It's going to be a cutback on either one of these balls, or reroute. And the problem here, it's always going to be the black. I think he's got the right angle on the one to bottom right to play this thin and career into the pack. He needed to play that with side, needed left side on it. And good safety, but let's put another one of his balls safe, and you kind of feel that he's just potted himself a little bit into trouble. Again, Steve just saying, you got two balls tied up. You crack on. I don't fancy you for them. Definitely doesn't want to pot another ball, which he hasn't. It's a clever little shot. Just left it as touching ball, and a little bit awkward because the easy escape, the big target, he doesn't really want to hit because he doesn't want to move the black. It was just a tiny swerve shot. And again, Steve doesn't want to be potting too many of these balls. Wants to keep his advantage, unless he is going for it. You can make an argument for it. He's got an angle now to pot the one to bottom right and nudge the black out. Didn't have to go for it there. wonder if this, I can only imagine this, I was going to say, I can only imagine it goes. Yeah, I guess it does. You must be able to see the pot and angle of it. Whether he actually found it there, I don't know, but you see the smile on his face. In fact, that's the guy sat behind him is Ben Clark, and he's the guy who knocked him out in the last round. I think all four of those guys are from a similar area: Sean Story and Ben and Steve. Yeah. Okay, he's got the blackout, but you feel like he's only really done Steve a favour there. He's going to have to pull some out of the bag here. I don't think he can do anything here, but apart from go for the long double. Disaster. I guess, I mean, it's impossible to find a trip hazard here with two visits, but the only thing you could say is the angle that he was left. It could go wrong for Steve, but it was a forlorn hope for Wade, and Wade, having just been knocked out of the main event, is now going to be knocked out of the Open, and it's Steve Petty who wins from 2-0 down. He wins 4 frames to, was it 4-2 or 4-3? I think it was 4-2. Anyway, it's him through to the next round. I'm not sure who the next game is yet. We're just waiting to hear from the top table. Oh, there you go. Pigeon's come across. He knows he's going to join me on comms for the next one. It's Ben Clark against Luke Gilbert. So Ben was watching on that one. We'll leave you with the scores in the other matches, and we'll be back on commentary in probably about 10 minutes or so as soon as we've reset. See you soon.